Gentlemen, that's right. Gary Schweikert will be starting on lane 8. He'll be facing Orin Haberman in our first men's match. And to start it off, he'll be on lane 7. Good start, Nick.
And he's playing with a rubber ball. A lot of power.
A lot of power. Gary's 34 years of age. He's an Erlanger resident. He's married to a lady named Sandy. They have 2 children, Heather and Kevin.
Good shot at the ball. Underneath it, cross lane. And hurry.
Oh boy. He gets that ball down there in a hurry. But Gary Schweikert opens up. So here's Orin Haberman. Let's talk about psychology. I love psychology. I guess you know, Eddie. I always talk about it. Orin Haberman has not thrown a ball yet, and he just witnessed Gary open. What goes on in your mind?
Well, he knows that he's all the pins that he's spotted, he's already picked up. But the real cute strategy is that he had the choice of lanes he wanted to finish on, and he wanted to finish on lane 7. That's the reason Gary bowled first. And evidently, he likes lane 7 a little better than lane 8. He'll go from the left side, cross lane. There's a good shot of his concentration on his target.
And for the conversion, Orin Haberman. You know, Orin is 35 years of age. He's from Edgewood, Kentucky. He's married and has 2 boys, John and Joey. Talk about high games. A 286. It's not a bad high game.
Check that 3-game series, 781.
Oh boy, good numbers on this man.
This is a lane that he preferred of the 2, according to the start.
Well, here's Orin to show us why.
I was commenting in the back that when Orin comes out of the ball, he sort of drops the thumb down to about the 9 o'clock position, and the fingers come up around 3, which puts him a little bit on top of the ball. So if you hear it thumping, that's the thumb hole.
You know, Orin's hobbies are pool, and here's my favorite, metal detecting. And for the conversion, almost chopped it.
That's a toughie.
Gary Schweikert opened in the first, missed the 10-pin. Talking about hobbies, he's got a neat hobby. He restores old Mustangs. And you're going to have to restore some bowling pins thrown like that. Gary Schweikert.
Hit them thin and watch them spin, isn't it?
Spin they did. The 10 and 5. Thought about it for a while, but they kicked out.
I'm watching Gary's head. And one of the prerequisites for being a good shooter is you have to keep that head still. And Gary, right at the approach, raises his head off the target.
And that's his ball. A double. Gary Schweikert, 2 in a row.
And that is picking him up in a hurry. He opened up and then came right back, so he's even with the board.
Talk about a game of psychology. I asked you before what Orin was thinking about before even throwing a ball when he watched Gary open. Now he just got to watch Gary throw 2.
Well, there's no defense there. He's going to have to make a move himself.
Little high. He got away with the 7-pin kicked out at the last moment. Left 6-10. Orin holds a 194 average. And how long has he been in bowling? 25 years.
And he's shooting cross lane.
For the conversion.
It's interesting to note, this urethane ball that Orin is playing with is the same type of ball that Roger Crawford is used, and it's also the same ball that, after 2 disastrous appearances on the show, Larry Sidner switched to and won last week.
Here's Orin Haberman. That's the lane he wanted to finish on, and he'll tell you why with that. Beautiful ball. So it's kind of a seesaw battle. Now Gary Schweikert working on 2. Gary's a physical education teacher at the Hinsdale and Park Hills School District. That's in Kenton County, Kentucky. And Brooklyn, and looky there, a 3-bagger. Little power there, Eddie.
Orin says, I guess if he keeps it in the building, he's dangerous.
Well, he's throwing 16 pounds of ball in a hurry.
He's taking his time, deliberate in putting the left foot down.
Gary's been bowling for 15 years himself. And let's see here, a little high, and oh boy, home court advantage maybe?
Well, he's got a pin, always looking for another pin. With his speed throwing the ball down there, that's quite unusual.
Well, you would just think he just got a 300. You would just think he got a 300 after that. He showed a little emotion. So Gary Schweikert gets a spare, and we're halfway through match 1 between Gary Schweikert and Orin Haberman. We'll be back with the conclusion right after this. And there's a shot of our scoreboard at the Super Bowl lanes, and it tells the truth. You cannot lie. Orin Haberman's working on a strike, and he'll be starting off on lane 8. Orin's an engineer at Lytton in Florence, Kentucky.
I think it's located over there on Industrial Road somewhere, isn't it?
I'm not sure, but that place is growing so fast. Orin goes Brooklyn for a 9. In qualifying, talk about consistency. Orin, a 208, a 205, and a 203. That's consistency.
Sounded like he was in a rut.
It's not a bad rut to be in, though.
Cross lane at it. 4-step approach for the conversion.
So when the smoke clears, Gary Schweikert's plus 18.
Well, he's going to have to start shopping a little bit early right now.
The winner will meet Roger Crawford from Erlanger, Kentucky. And he's our Marine that's been on the last 3 weeks. He won 2 weeks in a row, and last week he was beaten by Larry Sidner. And there's trouble. Orin Haberman. What I mean by trouble is he could give somebody trouble.
Does that tell you why he picked lane 7 to finish?
His last 2 balls on lane 7 have been dynamite.
Well, he'll get to throw 7 shots on lane 7 and 5 on lane 8.
Let's see, Gary Schweikert. And what do we have here? A 1-2-10.
It's commonly called a washout. It's not a split because the headpin's standing up there, so he'll have to slide the 1 over into the 10.
Tell you what, I don't care if you call it a split or not. I look down there, I see pins separated. I call that a split.
No, you bowl with us, it's a miss if you don't make it.
Well, Gary opens. He's plus 15, but opened in the 6th. So here's Gary trying to regroup in the 7th. Gary in qualifying, not a bad job himself. A 214. I don't want to tell you this middle game. A 135 and a 255. You're talking night and day. Super bowling. He finished with a 635.
And he's a spot bowler.
There's his spot. Hello. Mark it down. Gary Schweikert.
And that's the way to come back. When you open up, you got to come back with a strike.
Here's Orin. He's working on one right now with a strike here. He can make up some ground in a hurry.
And this is a lane that's been giving him a fit.
He's been nosy, Brooklyn, and he'll take it. Mark it down. Brooklyn, a double, put him back in the ball game.
Yeah, he just said, turnabout's fair play. And he's back over on his pet lane, and let's see what happens.
Let's talk psychology again, Eddie. You mind? Okay, you're Roger Crawford. What are you doing right now?
Well, right now he's talking to his girlfriend, forgetting all about this match.
And looky here.
Well, he put the ball right back over in Gary's court. No, the real answer to your question is that Roger has his own game plan, and it doesn't concern either one of these two gentlemen. He's just going to get what he can get and let the other man take care of himself.
There you go. I like that. Well, here's Gary Schweikert. He's -5 right now, but he's working on a strike. A double here could put him in the driver's seat. Just a small car, though. Not looking at an 18-wheeler yet. There's that strong ball and a little light.
Ball was sliding the full 60 feet. He just had no hit at all on it. And these are properly dressed lanes, and they're not conducive to hooking that much. And with that speed, the ball doesn't have the traction to create a hook.
The 2-4-5. My favorite one. My favorite spare to chop. But not this time, Gary. No problem at all.
And Gary's back into your driver's seat again. You know, another answer to your question, I bowled a lot of head-and-head matches, and I always wanted my opponent to bowl well, but I just wanted to bowl a little bit better. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. He's got his eyes right on his target.
And he pulled it and almost got away with it. You know, Eddie, I know you've bowled lots and lots of matches. What were you doing when you were waiting to find out who you were getting ready to face in the next match?
I just didn't do anything. Just stood around and just tried not to watch the match.
You tried not to watch?
Yeah, I didn't want to be. My theory was that I would figure the lanes myself, and if I was going to make a mistake, I wanted it to be one that I made. You know, the problem with Gary there that causes anybody to pull a ball. If somebody has trouble pulling the ball, the reason for the pull is that your head is coming up. So you got to stay down at the line.
Well, there you go. Orin Haberman counters right back.
And that's really the position that he would really like to keep his ball in all the time, is to get the pin action.
Here's where he wanted to finish, on 7. Let's take a look at the 10th frame. Gary Schweikert's +5, working on a spare. Orin Haberman's -5, but he's working on an X.
And he can lock him up if he goes out.
Let's see. Here's where he wanted to finish. There's one. Orin Haberman.
And that is what is known as picking your lane. He caught the one open frame on lane 7, and the rest have been his pocket hits. And here is an important pitch. He carries this one. It's good night.
Let's see, Orin, there it is. He's up the line, and there it is.
And for Gary Schweikert, there's not a thing he can do about it.
It's all over but the shout.
So you're looking at Gary Crawford's opponent right there.
Roger Crawford.
Roger, right? Thinking of Gary Schweikert over there.
Roger said, I'm going to win it this week. I got my lucky shirt on. The shirt he won with twice. And not much action from Orin. It's over. Super ball game. A 2-1-5? 2-1-5. Orin Haberman.
That shot there was just nothing more than throw it down the center of the lane, stay behind the black line, and take a count and go.
You know, you always hear that expression. All you have to do is stay behind the line. When a bowler just goes up there for that final ball, does he think about that?
Nah. Nah, he doesn't even think about it. He just wants to execute the shot.
Because, you know, you very seldom see good bowlers foul. Unlike me, who's following down the lane.
No, your game's coming right along.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
You know, you'll qualify for the show next year, bowling here, you know.
That's right. Wonder what I'll do if I'm doing the announcing and qualifying. Anyway, that's a year from now. So, Orin Haberman, 215 to Gary Schweikert's 189. So it'll be Orin versus the troublesome Marine right after this.